Hello, my name is Okada and welcome back to Mechabellum. We just had a little 2v2 match that I had a lot of fun in. It's not a real long one, but we did abuse a mechanic. And I thought, you know what, that was a lot of fun. Let's show everybody what happened. So while the thumbnail and title probably have already given away what we're aiming for, let's go in and pretend like we don't know it's coming. So here we are selecting our starting specialist. Now, unfortunately, our favored supply specialist was not available to us. In fact, none of the specialists that we like were available to us. So we went with a controversial pick, at least controversial to me, the elite specialist. And honestly, the reason why I went with elite specialist over, I think, aerial, was because the initial HP was higher, much, much higher. And I figured that would give us a little room to breathe. Now, the elite specialist is not a bad specialist, and I have seen some great success with it. However, the problem with it is that it is terrible for pivoting when things are not already going in your favor. The extra cost of all of your units starting at level 2 makes it real difficult to shift your strategy on the fly, especially when you've been caught off guard and you need a bunch of units to respond. So keeping that in mind, we're going to be kind of careful about what we choose, and we're going to invest in our units when we can, rather than going for unit spam. Now starting off, we have put our initial phoenixes in the back because they are much slower than our fangs, and we've thrown some fangs in the middle here because it's a compact map. Now, when we placed this, I knew it wasn't really a good idea. I mean, it was good to put the fangs over here to support our teammate. However, our teammate has crawlers that are going to outrun them considerably. But we don't know yet, what our opponents are going to do. And had our opponents put something fast up in the front, I didn't want them to clash straight into our fangs. So I put them behind instead of in front. I also wanted to get the advantage of the fangs kind of spreading out, because again, these are about slowing things down rather than winning fights. So to start off, we have purchased ourselves a level 2 marksman, because again, it's all going to be level 2. We are elite specialists. And we only had $100 left over, so we couldn't get 2 of them. So we went with a attack upgrade. And that was just keeping in mind that we have fangs and they don't do a whole lot of damage. So I figured that just a little extra bit would help. Plus, getting that upgrade with our already existing level 2 marksman means we're better off one-shotting units like arc lights. And that does win the day for us on the right side. On the left side, of course, expectedly, we lose out. But our units did slow them down considerably. Unfortunately, our teammate has lost pretty dramatically. Now, I don't fault them for that. At the beginning, you never know what the opponent's going to set up. And it's really easy for them to just luck into countering your entire initial startup. So sometimes it goes lopsided. Now we do take out the rest of our opponent, but there's no way we're going to take all these. So let's go ahead and jump to round 2, because we already know how this is going to end. All right, round 2. Tech specialist is available. This is something really good, especially for our elite specialist. Because again, we're going to want to invest in existing units rather than getting lots of new units. And being able to get those technologies, especially starting at round 2, is a major boon for us. Let's take a look real quick over here at our partner. Looks like their opponent is really going crazy with the marksman early on. And their opponent was marksman specialist. Our opponent was giant specialist, which again was why we went with the marksman earlier. I didn't mention that, but our first choice was marksman because we were anticipating, round 2, round 3, possibly for a giant, and we wanted to start investing in single target damage. But our opponent has reacted by going to mustangs. Most likely to clear out the fangs more quickly, which as you can see, we have bought the damage upgrade for our fangs and brought a second marksman into play. Again, we're kind of preparing for potential giants. And we had already won right side, so I wanted to see how their reaction was going to be. Now, the Mustangs do pretty good work at clearing out our chaff. I do question whether or not they should have been that far back. And going forward, we're going to try to punish our opponent for the hesitation of bringing those units to the front line. Now, it looks like our teammate, lost out pretty badly, but not as badly as last time, so that's a little bit of progress. So hopping into round 3, laser sights. We have marksmen, of course we're going to go laser sights. And we're going to immediately shift over to Stormcallers. And again, the reason for this is twofold. One, lots of slow units up front. You know, marksmen are very vulnerable to Stormcallers. All these slow units have trouble dodging them. And because our opponent put the Mustangs so far back, that means that we're going to have units able to engage them late once our firing line has already been established for our Stormcallers. So level 2 Stormcallers could start off, get ourselves our laser sights on our marksmen, and we were able to level up both of our Phoenixes. Now, we are not investing in our Phoenixes, but the extra health on them means they're going to survive longer dealing with Mustangs. Plus, with the 200 supplies that are required to upgrade the two of them, would have just equated to one marksman, because the marksman costs 150 for an elite specialist. Now it looks like our opponent has brought in some more marksmen. Looking on our partner's side, he has gone heavily with Mustangs. I probably would have gone Stormcallers, but Mustangs are very versatile. Now here on the left side, we are still losing that a lot, but we haven't done anything to reinforce it, so there's no surprise there. We're trying to stabilize the right side. We won it first round, lost it the second round. We're just kind of responding to it. As you can see, the Stormcallers have done really good work here. We've taken out all of the Mustangs. We've already lost our Phoenixes. And we have won the right side, even though we're going to lose it to the tower debuff. That's good enough. It's good enough. We've turned back all those units. Going into round 4, we had pretty good success with our Stormcallers. There were no worthwhile upgrades, so we're just going to take the 50 supplies, you know, and as elite specialists, more supplies means more upgrades. And we grab ourselves another Stormcaller. We take the upgrade for the incendiary bombs because I love this upgrade, and again, lots of slow units. And our opponent has put the Mustangs so far back, that means if we can get ourselves a field of fire, they're all just going to die in it. And we're going to grab one more set. That's really maximizing our money. Our Phoenixes, as you can see, did not survive at all last round. They got basically no experience points. We're not going to bother investing in any abilities for them. And we're going to move these Stormcallers forward a little bit. I like the symmetry of going straight across, but we are pivoting inwards. And if they're back farther, then it's going to take longer for them to fire. We want them to fire about the same time as our other Stormcallers. Also, we expect some kind of interception. We noticed during the setup that their Mustangs could go missile intercept, and that was another reason to double up on our Stormcallers on this side. So the fire is doing great work. Also here on the left side, since we did put Stormcallers over here, we have completely shifted the left side in our favor. On the right side, fire is doing good work as well. Those extra marksmen did help them clean up, and this missile interceptor is going to shut down our remaining Stormcallers on this side. You can see our teammate here has overcome their opponent. And that one missile interceptor is not going to stop the full set of Stormcallers. Now, our opponent needs to immediately address the problem of Stormcallers, or we're going to run away with this. And depending on what our specialist would be, we would consider now pivoting off of Stormcallers, because the Stormcallers are already doing their work and we expect the opponent to start countering it. And we kind of want to try to put a different pressure on them that isn't going to be vulnerable to the counters of Stormcallers. However, we are elite specialists and pivoting is not easy. So we're going to push this advantage with the Stormcallers and force them to overwhelmingly respond to them. And we noticed that there was smoke available. In fact, we took it. So of course we are blocking off this area because it's mission critical. If these do not fire, we lose. Same goes for our opponent. They need this visibility here for our units. Smoke is so powerful largely because it lasts for 2 rounds. If it gets through unshielded and it causes you to lose a round, it's going to cause you to lose the next round as well. Our opponent is investing more into marksmen, and they've got a ton of Mustangs all over the place. They put extended range on their marksmen here. Unfortunately for them, it's not going to do them a lot of good because they're going to go lights out. Now the extended range marksman can stand back and fight. Everything else is marching right into the smoke. Also, our opponent has chosen to go with extended range on their Mustangs rather than missile intercept. Now, I am not a big fan of missile intercept on Mustangs. In fact, I don't even have them as an option on my Mustangs. And the reason is because missile intercept basically eats up all of the damage output of your Mustangs if they go against a substantial missile threat. So unless your Mustangs are there purely to counter missiles, you actually lose a lot of your pressure. However, in this case, I think that our opponent really needs to be taking that upgrade. So we win that round real handily. Moving on to round 6. We're not real enchanted with the options here, but amplifying core is, it's more damage. We don't really have anything that is hit point reliant. But we're going to go ahead and grab it anyway. We're going to end up throwing it on the Phoenix because more damage, a little bit more survivability. Even though we're not investing in our air, we do expect that we're probably going to have to shift back to something else, because I keep expecting the opponent to go anti-missile on their Mustangs. And in fact, that's what I'm pressing them to do. I want them to spend more money on upgrading the Mustangs and causing these other upgrades to be too expensive for them to swing around to. So we're going to continue to push our Stormcaller advantage. We want to nullify the advantage of their Mustangs and leave that window of opportunity for us to go back to our Flyers later on when it's too expensive for them to go anti-air with their Mustangs. And we're just dropping down Stormcallers all over the place. We've got more range. We got another set over here. Our opponent has picked up Stormcallers of their own. They've done a little bit more anti-missile here. But we are going to keep pushing that advantage because we expect anti-missile and we need to overcome any kind of missile defense that they have. These shields are not going to do anything. Instantly melted. And they are bringing in some fire on our Mustangs, on our Stormcallers here. But we're bringing in literal fire on theirs. Oh, look at the fire, the carnage. Our opponent has also brought in some sentry missiles. Those are not going to do any advantage to them, any good for them, because we don't need to enter their side of the field. Looking over our teammate, they are taking out some fortresses with their Mustangs. They upgraded with range and with enhanced damage, and that's all it takes. So yeah, you just cannot let storm callers go unanswered like that because they will rain hot death. So let me know what you would have done differently had you been my opponent when I started going storm callers or later on when they started to get behind. Would you have also pivoted to storm callers? Would you have gone anti-missile? Would you have gone air? Let me know down in the comments. But thank you very much for watching this quick little video. It was a fun match, and I always like to show off when you allow a strategy to start to go to its extreme. So if you enjoyed this, be sure to leave a like on your way out, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. If you enjoyed this, you may want to check out one of these other videos, and thank you very much for your time.